Alles klar, Herr Kommissar?
People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA for short, is infamous for how it goes about its animal activism without really changing the lives of animals. Did you go on a 1,000-year strike from milk after they equated it to Nazis? No. Are we talking about PETA right now? Yes. And to them, that is a final victory. See, PETA's primary focus has little to do with the actual animal welfare. In fact, less than 1% of its income goes towards living animals at all. But before your head explodes, it should be noted that a lot of those big corporate charities do the exact same thing. For instance, very little of the BCRF's money actually goes towards research. Besides, breast cancer already has a survival rate of 84%. Just cut those titties off, we'll eat them instead of chicken breast. I just fixed animal rights and cancer. Why am I the only one solving problems around here? Instead of funneling money into local animal welfare projects, PETA puts the majority of its resources towards massive advertising campaigns, all of which are purposefully offensive, outrage-inducing, racist, sexist, ableist, homophobic, celebrity-obsessive, and overall disingenuous. The white supremacist milk commercial you just saw being a perfect example. Start off with an unsubstantiated claim, immediately abandon it, shoehorn in a trending piece of media, add a celebrity with no context, and then wrap it up by demonizing the actions of an average person.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah, nothing says save the whales like two middle-aged white women awkwardly making out on a deflating air mattress in front of a bunch of voyeuristic New Yorkers hypothermically half-naked in the middle of January. What in God's name is going on with the camera work and editing? Who fucking made this? Some Parkinson's victim obsessed with snuff films? Hold the fucking camera straight! Unsurprisingly, PETA has a long and storied history of misogynistic sexualization of women in their marketing. But it's not always the fun teenage boy wet dream kind you just saw. No, it's about to get really uncomfortable now.
They got me pregnant.
They use my body.
I make them money.
To them,
I'm an object.
Okay, look, I don't know who this they-them fella they're referring to is, but they better cool their jets, okay? You're bothering these women folks something mighty fierce.
They've called me bitch.
I feel.
Worthless.
Because I am you.
Only different.
I'm a cow? Oh my god, I've been a cow this whole time? My hands! My hooves! My hands is hooves. See, in the advertising business, you tend to write what you know. And if there's one thing PETA knows about, it's participating in sexual misconduct. PETA has routinely pressured women into getting naked and being photographed for years, even going so far as to steal copyrighted film and photographs of naked women to put in their ads from the filmmakers. In 2018, Wayne Pacelle, who was head of the Humane Society and an influential PETA member, was outed for multiple sexual misconduct allegations. Such allegations were then defended by female executives saying, quote, "What red-blooded male hasn't sexually harassed someone?" He eventually stepped down and was just replaced by another high-up PETA member. So when those actresses in the rapey ad you just saw talk about them, what they should be referring to is PETA itself.
How do we justify our complete disregard for other animals' suffering? We do ourselves a huge disservice by only addressing racism and sexism without confronting our speciesism.
Whoa, 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 hey, you can't just phase into this dimension and start making up isms. There's a special place in hell for you and a comfy tenure at UC Berkeley if you keep that up.
The way that we exploit other animals is systemic. That's why throughout history, groups of humans who have been excluded from society have often been first animalized or dehumanized as a way to subjugate or discriminate against them. Jews during the Holocaust were transported to concentration camps in cattle cars.
Yet another smooth-brained false equivalency from the petards. Obviously, Jews were not transported in cattle cars as some slight against the bovine family. We're talking about the Nazis transporting millions of people. How do you think they were gonna do it? Fucking first class? I'm getting upset and I'm wearing the silly history uniform.
When we ask ourselves, are we really so different? The answer is often unsettling and it challenges these boundaries that we've established.
Animal activism is really only something a first world citizen with unfettered access to food, water, and shelter can put a lot of their time into. For instance, if you're a Vietnamese civilian whose entire village was just a victim of a napalming, you don't really have time to worry about an annoyed cuttlefish somewhere. And I mention Vietnam specifically because it's now time we talk about PETA's Speciesism torchbearer, Hannah Nguyen, aka the idiot you just saw talking. So let's see about what it's like to be a full-time animal activist coming from a war-torn country.
I spent most of my childhood away from my native Vietnam.
Whoa, 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 stop. Whose idea was it to fake a TED Talk? Just because you go like this when you're talking doesn't mean there's an audience behind you. I swear to God, PETA's commercial producers have fucking schizophrenia.
Now, my experience growing up as a third culture kid was in no way traumatizing, but it does help me understand how language can be used to justify exclusion. When I first got involved in animal rights activism 3 years ago.
3 years ago? Oh, so your whole vibe of third world culture, living in poverty, exposed to suffering was all misrepresented horseshit. Oh, wow. What a fucking torchbearer. What a smarmy Boadell. What a cunt of a hero.
It was at first with little support from my parents. Once, in an argument with my mom, I referred to the trillions of non-human animals exploited and killed every year as victims. My choice of word really upset my mom.
I hope she looked at her daughter from the other side of the dinner table and went, "If you were alive in 1969, your grandma and I would have fucking eaten you. Now go take our slave for a walk, please, honey."
The Vietnamese word for victim itself, Nạn Nhân, is made up of 2 Sino-Vietnamese characters, one of which means person. Let's all be a little more careful with what we express and how we express it, because our words as well as our actions can have very real victims. Thank you.
So that's speciesism. PETA's little excuse they made up so they can misappropriate animal abuse to slavery, the Holocaust, eugenics, segregation, and other semi-revisionist false equivalencies. They even go so far as to make satirical advertisements against companies they view as evil or immoral by dressing actors up in racist and offensive outfits and uniforms, which is completely unfunny, unacceptable, and wrong. Except for when I do it. But now it's time for us to look at the real reason why PETA has all this inexcusable hatred running through its membrane. And for us to understand that, we need to look at one woman. PETA's founder and Fuhrer, Ingrid Newkirk. She lives up to her self-described title of being a white, female civil rights activist in the 60s, by being a virulent racist and hiding behind MLK anytime there's any criticism. She's accused Harriet Tubman of being paid by white slave owners. She's accused Google of being run by a conservative black militia when they refused to let her speak at their office. What's really strange is throughout all the years of Ingrid Newkirk's racism and anti-Semitism, there isn't a single mention of her on the ADL's website. I wonder why. It's not like she's, oh, there it is. Just goes to show that when it comes to animal and women's rights, it just takes one ancient racist Jewish lady to stick around way past her welcome to set the whole movement back by decades. Well, that was quick. However, if you're still a PETA supporter or just generally don't care about any of the horrific shit that I've mentioned, I would like you to take a look at a few more quotes by Ingrid Newkirk. These dealing with the systematic killing of thousands of animals every year by PETA and Newkirk herself. I'm going to go ahead and play an uncharacteristically brief video of Ingrid where she talks about it. And in between, I'm going to let you in on what I've come to call Ingrid Oopsies.
No-kill shelters have to close their doors because they get full so quickly.
You know who wish they closed their doors? The family of a little girl whose dog was kidnapped and murdered by a PETA member at the direct order of Ingrid Newkirk herself, resulting in a hefty settlement paid out by PETA. Ingrid Oopsie.
And animals who are sick, who are aggressive, who are elderly, and people can't afford euthanasia for them, are turned away.
The plus with PETA is that you don't have to worry about getting turned away with a violent animal. That's because regardless of the dog's temperament or health, if it's a pit bull, it's getting fucking killed. And if you feel like you're killing too many pit bulls, that's okay. You can falsify the death records. Ingrid ordered it specifically. Ho, that's an Ingrid Oopsie.
The open admission shelters take in more animals, and of course they have to euthanize. But it's better than turning your back on the animals and putting them out on the street.
It is a little hard to always adopt when it comes to PETA, though, because they kill the majority of their animals. For instance, records show that in 2014, at their main shelter in Virginia, PETA took in around 6,000 dogs and cats. By the end, only 39 were left alive and successfully adopted. This is in stark contrast to a no-kill shelter with the Humane Society in the same city with around the same amount of animals, which adopted out a staggering 93% of them successfully. That's a lot of biohazard bags and an Ingrid Oopsie. It's clear that she's just an angry old bitch who hates everyone in existence and loves euthanasia. I personally have no problem or moral issue with euthanasia if it was held to the same standards she set out in the video. I mean, if that were the process, I'd like to see the concept expanded to humans. I mean, grandma's Alzheimer's is bumming everybody out, veterinary insurance is cheaper, just put Gam Gam to sleep on a chrome slab next to a stiff chihuahua, and we don't have to spend another Christmas in a nursing home. God damn it, Greenblatt, I don't even know Flavor Flav. Now finally, before I throw all this milk away without drinking it, in my opinion, PETA, which claims to be the largest and wealthiest animal rights charity, is actually just a racist, sexist, ineffective, frivolous corporate animal killing machine that's run by a bunch of people who are just like those reptilian carnivore pedophile hermaphrodites with 4 legs, tiny dicks, and general case of halitosis. Ooh, I'm sorry. Was that a greatly exaggerated false equivalency? Oh my god, it looks like I can do it too, Ingrid. Who's gonna stop me? Okay, listen, Ivan, this is a production. There's a boom back. I don't know where you've come from, so fucking excellent.
All animals are equal. Some animals are more equal than others.